Hello and welcome to Shurley English. Time in the classroom is valuable. We are here to help you maximize your resources with an innovative enhancement to our digital materials. SEDA, the Shurley English Digital Assistant, is here to help you become a language arts expert. Utilizing highly trained certified teachers, we model every lesson for you. This valuable resource creates endless ways to promote knowledge acquisition and reinforce retention. Teachers can use SEDA for in-depth training, lesson preparation, co-teaching, blended learning, and more. Students can use SEDA as a pre-teaching resource or as a post-teaching reinforcement. Students may also use SEDA for continued learning during absences. Parents can use SEDA to remain in tune with what is happening in the classroom and provide accurate reinforcement at home. SEDA is for everyone. We invite you to explore a complete SEDA lesson.
Welcome back to Shurley English Level 4. Today we will begin Chapter 9, Lesson 7, pages 363 through 369. We have a lot going on today, so let's take a look at today's agenda. During word time, we will study vocabulary and analogy 14, and also study the etymology for vocabulary 14. We will review spelling rule 4. During grammar time, you will classify practice sentences, and we will conduct a word study where we review acronyms. We will also do a writing connection where we discuss good word choices. During writing time, we will learn to build a sentence adding helping verbs. We will also use revision strategies and write a mover and shaker sentence. You will also write Journal Entry 16. We will also explore a writing strategy where we learn to use adjectives after nouns to make sentences more expressive. I will also extend the lesson today. Here we will learn to recognize more modal helping verbs. Finally, your assessment will consist of completing Classroom Practice 36. Let's get going. I'd like to begin today's lesson with word time. Let's go over the vocabulary and analogy information for our new vocabulary word. Vocabulary word 14 is hesitate. Let's repeat the word 5 times, and in between each time, I'd like you to clap or snap your fingers twice. Ready? Hesitate, 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 hesitate. Good job. Tune in as Vocabulary Victor recites the information for our new word, hesitate.
Word 14. Hesitate. Definition: to wait or stop for a moment. Synonym: pause. Antonym: rush. Sentence: Susan hesitated before she walked onto the stage. Etymology: word history of hesitate. Latin root: hesitare. Definition: to be stuck. Other words from the root: hesitant. Analogy: hesitate is to rush as basement is to attic. Relationship: antonym. Thinking process: just as hesitate is the opposite of rush, basement is the opposite of attic. Therefore, this is an antonym analogy.
Please pause your computer to find your vocabulary notebook. You will use it to enter the new vocabulary information and complete the activity on page 363. Before you begin the next activity, please make sure you have entered in all of the vocabulary information for your new vocabulary word, hesitate. Activity: draw a picture or write a poem or story in your vocabulary notebook to help you remember the word hesitate. Here's a picture idea. Draw a picture of a pirate walking the plank. Just as the pirate gets to the edge of the plank, he hesitates, with his foot in the air. Please take some time to complete this activity and return to the lesson when you're finished. Today, for spelling, I'd like to study the spelling rule to help you become a better speller. Let's review spelling rule 4. Changing or keeping the final Y. When adding a suffix to a word that ends in Y, change the Y to I if there is a consonant before the Y, as in the word studied. When adding a suffix to a word that ends in Y, keep the Y if there is a vowel before the Y, as in the example, playful. When adding a suffix to a word that ends in Y, keep the Y if adding ing, as in the word studying. Now let's review our spelling words. For each pair of words, recite, spell, and repeat. The first word is studied. Study plus ed equals studied. S-T-U-D-I-E-D, studied. The next word is studying. Study plus ing equals studying. S-T-U-D-Y-I-N-G, studying. Word 3 is playful. Play plus full equals playful. P-L-A-Y-F-U-L, playful. Word 4 is stayed. Stay plus ed equals stayed. S-T-A-Y-E-D, stayed. The next word is happiness. Happy plus ness equals happiness. H-A-P-P-I-N-E-S-S, happiness. Word 6 is hurrying. Hurry plus ing equals hurrying. H-U-R-R-Y-I-N-G, hurrying. Don't forget about the student note. Some words are exceptions to this rule. For example, pay becomes paid, lay becomes laid, say becomes said, and day becomes daily. Let's get started with grammar time. Classifying sentences. Classify the practice sentences with your teacher using the question and answer flow. As I conduct the vocabulary check on these sentences, please be looking for any words that are unfamiliar to you. If you do find a word, then make sure that you check in with your teacher for extra clarification. Sentence 1. Are Ricardo and Amy shopping for an SUV, a car, or a truck today? Sentence 2. The caution light near the courthouse was not working properly yesterday. Sentence 3. My best friend and I sniffled and cried during the sad movie. Before we move on, I'd like you to take a few moments to reread the practice sentences to yourself. Do you notice any words that are overused that could possibly be replaced with more expressive synonyms? I'll check back in with you when you're finished. Were you able to find any words that might have been overused or that could be replaced with more expressive synonyms? If you take a look at sentence 2, you can see that I have circled the word working. Working could be replaced with functioning to add a more exact meaning to the overall mental picture the sentence paints. Also, in sentence 3, sad could be replaced with heartbreaking to add strength to the overall mental picture the sentence paints. Can you think of another synonym to replace sad? Can you think of another synonym to replace sad? The word sad could be replaced with the synonym depressing. You could also choose to use the synonym tearful. Did you consider the word upsetting? This synonym is a very interesting word, melancholic. Remember, using good word choices can help add more exact meaning to the overall mental picture the sentence paints. I strongly encourage you to use more expressive words in your writing, and don't be afraid to go to the dictionary or a thesaurus to help you make good word choices. Remember, to be most successful at the question and answer flow, it's very important that you recite both the questions and the answers during the question and answer flow. I know you'll do a great job.
Are Ricardo and Amy shopping for an SUV, a car, or a truck today? Who is shopping for an SUV, a car, or a truck today? Ricardo and Amy. Compound subject noun, compound subject noun. What is being said about Ricardo and Amy? Ricardo and Amy are shopping, verb. Are helping, verb. Are shopping, verb phrase. For preposition, for what? SUV, car, or truck. Compound object of the preposition, compound object of the preposition, compound object of the preposition. A article adjective or conjunction. A article adjective, an article adjective. Are shopping when? Today, adverb. And conjunction. Subject noun verb pattern 1 skill check. For an SUV, a car, or a truck, prepositional phrase. Question mark, question, interrogative sentence. Go back to the verb. Divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. Is this sentence in a natural or inverted order? Inverted. Underline the subject parts once and the predicate parts twice. The caution light near the courthouse was not working properly yesterday. What was not working properly yesterday? Light, subject noun. What is being said about light? Light was working, verb. Was helping, verb. Was working, verb phrase. Was working how? Not, adverb. Was working how? Properly, adverb. Was working when? Yesterday, adverb. Near preposition. Near what? Courthouse, object of the preposition. The article adjective. What kind of light? Caution, adjective. The article adjective. Subject noun verb pattern 1 skill check. Near the courthouse, prepositional phrase. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb. Divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. Is this sentence in a natural or inverted order? Natural, no change. My best friend and I sniffled and cried during the sad movie. Who sniffled and cried during the sad movie? Friend and I, compound subject noun, compound subject pronoun. What is being said about friend and I? Friend and I sniffled and cried. Compound verb, compound verb. During preposition. During what? Movie, object of the preposition. What kind of movie? Sad, adjective. The article adjective. And conjunction. And conjunction. Which friend? Best, adjective. Whose friend? My, possessive pronoun adjective. Subject noun verb pattern 1 skill check. During the sad movie, prepositional phrase. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb. Divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. Is this sentence in a natural or inverted order? Natural, no change.
I'd like to move right into our word study. Follow along, please. Remember, when an actual word is formed from the initials of a title, organization, or item, it is called an acronym. When initials do not form a word but are pronounced as individual letters to identify a title, organization, or item, they are not an acronym. What do the initials SUV stand for in sentence 1? The initials SUV stand for Sports Utility Vehicle. How many other acronyms or initials for titles, organizations, or items can you name? The initials NFL stand for National Football League. FBI stands for Federal Bureau of Investigation. The meaning of the acronym NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. The initials ATM stand for Automated Teller Machine. The initials NBA stand for National Basketball Association. And the acronym SCUBA stands for Self-Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Let's get ready to write. Blueprint for building a sentence. Today you will learn how to add helping verbs to your blueprint labels to write an original sentence. Reference 133 will help us to design a sentence blueprint adding helping verbs. Design and build your sentence on Classroom Practice 36. I'd like to go through steps 1 through 5 in reference 133 before you begin building your original sentence on Classroom Practice 36. Step 1. Choose the labels you want to use. Use the core labels, subject noun or subject pronoun, and verb only once and in that order. Step 2. The other labels, adjective, adverb, article adjective, preposition, object of the preposition, possessive pronoun adjective, conjunction, and helping verb can be used as many times as you wish, in any order you wish, as long as they make sense. Remember, complete sense is one of the 5 parts of a complete sentence. Pay close attention to step 3, instructions for the new label, helping verb. First, choose a helping verb that makes sense in your sentence. Use the helping verb jingle in the jingle section to help you think of a helping verb. Make sure you put it just before the main verb for a natural order sentence, or at the beginning of the sentence for an interrogative inverted word order sentence. Write the helping verb under the helping verb label. Repeat this step for each helping verb added to your sentence. Step 4. Write the labels in the order you choose on the labels line. Step 5. Write a word that makes sense for each label. After writing your original sentence on Classroom Practice 36, use the revision strategies on the next page to help you make revisions. Use revision strategies to revise your original sentence. Remember, revising means looking for ways to improve your writing. As you revise your original sentence, write the abbreviation of the revision strategy you used under each word in your revised sentence. To improve your writing, using a synonym would mean that you would choose a word that had a similar or almost the same meaning. If you were to use an antonym, you would choose a word that was the opposite. To use the revision strategy word change, you'll simply just find a new word to replace the original word. If you're going to use this revision strategy, just add a brand new word to the sentence and make sure it makes sense. Revision strategy number 5 is deleted word. This just means take that specific word out of the sentence completely. The revision strategy NC stands for no change. That means you won't change anything in the sentence. These are just some of the ways that you can improve your writing. Remember, you can also add prepositional phrases anywhere in the sentence. The red arrow is pointing to the row that contains the revision strategies. If you take a look under each word, you can see the specific revision strategy that was used. When you apply the steps from reference 133, your finished product on Classroom Practice 36 will look similar to mine. Please read the student tip with me. Number 1. Use your vocabulary words, power words, a thesaurus, and a dictionary to help you write your original and revised sentences. Number 2. As you go through each word of your original sentence, think about the changes and improvements you want to make. Number 3. Knowing the revision strategies makes it easier to improve your sentences. At this time, I'd like you to get started on Classroom Practice 36. Make sure you place your name and date up at the top of the page. Exercise 1. Write your own blueprint labels. Use the labels to write an original sentence. Then, revise your sentence, writing the abbreviation of the revision strategy under each word. Exercise 2. Rewrite your revised sentence on the lines below. Use the checklist to check your sentence. If at any time you need some extra assistance, please find your teacher and ask your teacher to give you help. If at any time during the exercise you get confused or stuck, please ask your teacher for some extra help. When you're finished with the activity, I'd like you to come back to the lesson. Now let's move on to the next part of the activity. Writing a mover and shaker sentence in your journal. Skip 2 lines below your last entry and write the date and chapter number. Then, skip 1 line and write a mover and shaker sentence from your revised sentence, or make up a new one. Compare all of the mover and shaker sentences you have written so far. Let's take a look at this writing strategy, using adjectives after the nouns they modify. Sometimes, writers like to make their descriptions rock by placing adjectives after the nouns they describe instead of before them. For example, you could say this the normal way. The green swaying palm leaves looked as if they were dancing in the tropical breeze. Or, you could say it the mover and shaker way. Notice how just changing the order of the adjectives to follow the noun they modify makes the sentence more expressive and poetic. You might have noticed that I skipped over Journal Writing 16. I'd like to complete extending the lesson before we get into the journal writing activity. Extending the lesson. More modal helping verbs. Modal review. Helping verbs are also called auxiliaries, and helping verbs that provide extra information about the main verb are called modal helping verbs. Modal helping verbs also affect interrogative sentences. Study more modal helping verbs in the examples below. Take a look at the list of modal helping verbs. Repeat them with me, please. Would, should, shall, will. Now let's go through them individually. The modal helping verb is would. The condition of the verb, possibility based on a condition. Now what does this mean? I think the example can help us out. Would you read these books if they were shorter? You can probably see that the modal helping verb would is the first word in this interrogative sentence. That means it's a question. The question that we're actually asking is there a possibility, based on different conditions, that you might read these books? The condition that we're referring to in this sentence is whether or not the books would be shorter. Would you read these books if they were shorter? The next modal helping verb is should. The condition of the verb is ideal situation. When you use the modal helping verb should, It insinuates that there is an ideal situation that you are striving for. The example reads, "Should I read another chapter tonight?" Shall is another modal helping verb. When shall is used with a verb, the condition of the verb states as though there's a future obligation or intention. For example, shall we read this book tomorrow? This example leads us to believe that our intention will be to read the book tomorrow. The last modal helping verb that we will look at today is will. The condition of the verb is future fact or intention. Please read the example with me. Will you read this book tomorrow? Can you tell that the question is, are you intending to read this book tomorrow at a future date? This next exercise was designed to be done in small groups. Feel free to do this on your own, or if you'd like to work with your teacher, please do so. First, recite the modal verb jingle on page Q15. Second, divide into small groups. With your group, write a sentence for each modal helping verb to demonstrate its use. Share your group's work with the class. Remember, you will do this individually and share your work with your teacher. Third, use what you have learned about quotations and modal helping verbs to write a few lines of dialogue. Use the examples above to get you started or write your own. For example, Dad asked, "Shall we eat early or late tomorrow night?" Mom replied, "We will eat early tomorrow night." You'll need to use your own sheet of paper to complete this activity. After you finish the activity, make sure you complete the journal writing activity on the next slide. We've reached the end of the lesson, and I'd like you to get out your journals so that you can enter Journal Writing 16 into your notebook journal or digital journal. Use the spelling pattern and Rule 4 to help you spell words correctly. I know learning these concepts isn't always a breeze, but do know that your efforts are standing out